It is back to the basics. It's back to the best. It is back to the elements. As soon as I say that, 17 people are walking in. But I am honored to have my co-host join us via telephonic communications. Malcolm Johnson's hot on the campaign trail. Malcolm, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brent. How about yourself?
I am. Last week when you were covering for me, I took a little vacay, settled a case, and we went down to old Puerto Rico to see a couple friends and enjoy a little beach time down there. But I'm back fully charged. How about you?
And listen, man, the campaign trail is nothing nice. Ike and Mike is on the slab. Matter of fact, today I thank you for allowing me to be out here on the slab and take time out from the campaign trail to at least join you VIA on this great show. The Brent Hazard and Malcolm Johnson show, which is, it was so hot last week, Brent, I thought the station was going to burn down.
I mean, are you saying that the show was better without me?
No, I'm not saying that, Brent.
I think that's what I've heard. That's what I heard. But, well, let me ask you, how is campaign going? How is the campaigning?
I'm going to be honest with you, Brent. It's going great, man. Wonderful. People they got both arms open saying we need new leadership in Hinds County, and I'm agreeing with them. So everything is going well, and what we're doing, we're just letting the people know that we are out here and we want to work hard and serve the people and make a difference in the community.
And if people want to donate or volunteer for the Malcolm Johnson campaign, because I'm tired of giving, how do people give?
Well, I got a website at www.malcolmjohnsonforsupervisor.com. Or you can reach me directly at 601-473-6545. And guess what, Brent? If they reach me, I can take their information and I'll pass it on to the campaign. And we'll give them more information, other ways they can do other things if they reach us at 601-473-6545. But www.malcolmjohnsonforsupervisor.com is the official website of the campaign.
Well, now, let me get into what's going on. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yes, sir. Who didn't watch the Super Bowl?
Well, to be quite honest, I was so tired. I got back Saturday, I fell asleep, and then I watched it Monday morning. But
wow.
your thoughts?
To be honest with you, I thought the Eagles would have won. But, there's nothing like the NFL. So when you're on the NFL, brother, you know how I go.
You always got to go with the best quarterback in the NFL with all the rule changes, and that's Mr. Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
And he's a bad boy, but he and Andy Reid, they dialed it up in that second half. But Mr. Mahomes showed you why he's the MVP. What did you think about Rihanna?
All the talk that I heard from everybody was she pregnant? But I didn't understand the halftime show. It was a little different. It wasn't what I was used to, But I tell you one thing, the national anthem was off the chain. Mr. Tennessee Whiskey, he did the job, brother.
Now, see, I missed that. I've got to go back and watch it. But let me tell you, this is what's funny. Saturday, I was on the beach in Puerto Rico, and some kid had a basketball, and they said, come on, let's run 3-on-3. And I was out there at 50 years old running. But as you get older, you realize, I'm not going to move a lot. I'm going to make it seem like I'm moving a lot. And I know how to move safely and slowly, but I know what spaces to get in. That's what Rihanna was doing when she was dancing. I was thinking before I saw her, I found out she was pregnant. She was doing a lot of movement, but she wasn't going anywhere. And I was thinking, I thought it was post-pregnancy weight. But it turned out the rumor is that she's pregnant, but that's exactly why I thought it was like Rihanna looked like me on the court yesterday. Barely moving, but I knew where to go with the ball. I set everybody up, but I wasn't really moving that. I was probably moving about 6 feet total. That's what Rihanna was doing.
Well, I tell you, she looked good in that red, though. And they say she's a billionaire. Did you hear that part, Brent?
Well, when you get to, just a hit, so let's be honest, when you're talking about 10 individual hits that someone can perform, You're talking about what? Maybe 15, 20 artists? And I mean, you know, when you've got someone like Adele coming to watch your show, when you've got other famous singers coming, I mean, she's an icon. She's one of the icons of our generation. And, you know, if I go Rihanna, who do you go as a bigger star?
Alive, Beyonce and Rihanna. Probably Rihanna is the two biggest right now.
Beyonce, is there Taylor Swift would have to be up there. Any male singers? I guess Harry Styles right now, but I wouldn't put him in.
Then you would say Usher.
Yeah, I mean it's up there. Well, look who just wandered in. Wilford Beals wandered in. Come on, Wilford. Mr. Beals is retired. He doesn't care about time. Time is an abstract concept, and you're a concrete man. Is that how the world works, Mr. Bill?
No, that's not how the world works.
It seems that way, Clinton, but it's fine. But it's always a pleasure. You always look dapper. We have Malcolm Johnson joining us via telephone.
Okay.
But I was asking him, did you see the Super Bowl?
Yes, I saw the Super Bowl.
Your opinion?
It was a well-played game. It's a shame that a penalty had to be on the next to the last play.
That penalty, you don't think they could kick a 35-yard field goal?
Well, yeah, they can. However, it was an opportunity for Philadelphia to get the ball back with some time.
Well, it was also an opportunity for them to stop somebody in the second half.
True. They didn't stop him at all.
I mean, but anyway, it was a good game.
Very good game.
Jalen Hurst is going to get paid. You know, it's amazing how bad the field was, though. But what did you see the halftime show?
I saw halftime show. Yes, it was good.
That's it. That's all insight.
It was good.
We got an hour to kill here, Mr. Bill. You can bring some heat. you can have an opinion in the next. Anyway, well, Malcolm, favorite commercial.
My favorite commercial coming up as a child was Wendy's.
No, I'm talking about on the Super Bowl, man. I don't give a damn about you as a kid.
Well, my favorite commercial was Deion Sanders and the Sanders family reunion.
Deion Sanders and the Sanders family reunion.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't see that one either.
Was that on the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. What's your favorite commercial?
Well, I don't remember how it was with that family. That it wasn't Deion Sanders' family. It was a family getting ready to go to the game. I can't recall what that was, but it made me chuckle.
What made you chuckle?
The commercial with the family. They had a family commercial. Am I recalling it right now? They had a family commercial where they was getting together to do. I forgot what they was getting ready to do.
You're just taking me there. You should go into storytelling with a family and they're doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe writing's not too late.
No.
Family comes in, does something.
I just saw the humor of it, but I didn't follow it that close because I just look at the commercial, get a chuckle, and I'm off doing something else. But that's what it was. I didn't get into it because it was taking too much time. Excuse me.
That's fine. I mean, it opens the opportunity for some dementia medication for the show.
That
sponsorship.
That sounds good. That sounds
anyway,
good. But it's not true. It sounds good.
Anyway, moving on while we take care of some technical issues, we are trying now. Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard? What is your latest about the district? I don't know if we've done a full dive on the district. What are you hearing about the district takeover? Is it going to pass?
Well, I'm hearing, Brent, that it probably going to pass through the Senate, but some of my sources say that they believe the governor may hold out on signing the bill.
Man, come on, Malcolm Johnson. I thought we were having a serious show today. You think Tate Reeves has got any love for Jackson?
I'm just telling you what I heard, brother.
Man, Tate Reeves ain't going to do anything. First of all, the Republicans, the hospitals, and the white people that still live in Jackson are ones behind the bills. Why would Tate Reeves go against them and not, I mean, the man who ain't done anything to help Jackson, I can tell. Why would Tate Reeves do anything? Do you agree? What's your opinion, Mr. Bill?
My opinion is the same. Tate Reeves going to follow the conservative, and he's going to follow the majority. I don't think he would take that stand. You're talking about a man that don't like affordable health care. You're talking about well, you understand the public policy. That area is not mandated for those public policies that he stands against. That area is mandated on looking at sovereignty and getting a better quality of life in the city of Jackson.
I will say this. I don't think he's against affordable health care. Not for him. He's against anything that the Democrats come up with. And I mean, I'm trying to be nice here. But, I mean, let's call it like it is. Tate Reeves, I mean, most politicians, present company excluded, are prostitutes. And they'll say what needs to be said. And I think Mr. Reeves will say whatever the conservative branch or Donald Trump needs to be said to keep his job, because he has no real skill set. He's not going to. Okay, what is Tate Reeves? He wins governor, which I think he's favored to do. Mm-hmm. After 4 years from that, what is he qualified to do? He can't run a business.
That's true.
He's not a lawyer.
Oh, he's not a lawyer. I thought he was.
No, he got an MBA from Millsaps, my understanding.
He worked with money. He was an auditor. Not an auditor.
No, he worked at a bank.
Yeah, bank. He worked at a bank. He was in the CPA field.
I don't even think he got a CPA. I think he got it. Well, I mean, if there's a magical box we could just ask this question about. But no, my understanding is, I mean, let's say, well, okay, Malcolm, what jobs is Tate Reeves qualified to do, even if he wins governor?
Well, he'd probably be a lobbyist for Haley Barbour in Washington.
That's it. Haley ain't gonna give him up any Washington contracts. He could run for U.S. senator, but I mean the situation. He was groomed to take over Thad Cochran, and he was so unpopular they worried about Chris McDaniel beating him. But I don't think anything. Let's see here. He graduated Rankin County, native of Rankin County. Father founded a heating and air conditioning company. I hear his dad is a great guy. Got a degree in
one thing he could do.
What?
He could write books on how to steal.
Steal what?
How to steal, brother. He stole from the Democrats. The mayor of Jackson accused him of stealing the money from the Jackson water sewer.
Nice. Okay, what do you give Lumumba's position right now about the district, or his position on it?
Brother, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's mixed feelings with the whole thing, the whole concept on what he have and what he's saying, because he used the black and white card on everything. So when it really is a race issue, you really don't know when to take him seriously. Well,
the thing about it is, I find him. He's just out of his depth. He doesn't have any. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Bill. What do you give him from a layman's perspective?
Oh, from a layman's perspective, and I understand what you're saying, out of his depth. There's another term we use, out of your league, which is more common. He has his perspective of how it should be run, and it differs with the governor. And I can understand the strong arm of the state. Once the state is called in, they're going to try to take control and get the process up and going, because when you affect the Supreme Court, when you affect the state capitol, you affect other state political facilities and elected officials, then everyone calls the state and say, what you going to do? We're in the city of Jackson, they're having this problem, and we have some type of responsibility to help in the city. So the mayor may be taking that as taking control, or what we call diminishing his leadership or his authority. So that's easily to be understood that way. So I believe that's where that confusion is at this time.
Well, no, what kills me is you're talking about a lawyer here, okay? And you're talking about a lawyer, and these are the arguments you should be hearing, okay? And these are the arguments that someone should make in court. I will not be making them in court, because I've tried to be a civil rights lawyer. I've been a civil rights lawyer in Mississippi for years, and in the Fifth Circuit or Mississippi State courts, you'll go broke. But the argument is this. You argue civil rights, which is 42 USC 1983. That's the code section. That's when you get into our civil rights are being violated because we're a majority African-American city. They're not treating Gulfport. They're not treating the citizens. They're not treating the citizens of Gulfport. They're not treating the citizens of South Haven. They're not treating any other citizens like this. Then you get into what's called an equal protection clause violation. And that's where you say the citizens of Jackson are being treated differently than the citizens of Rankin and Madison or Brandon and Canton or Madison and Ridgeland, the cities. And you make the argument, well, they're not losing or they're not having imposed a district that's not elected by the voters. The judges aren't elected by the voters. Prosecutors aren't elected by the voters, which is a violation of due process or the process established by the Constitution, the state Constitution, and that gets into the 1983, what's called a due process violation. An easy example of due process violation, you get 3 strikes in baseball. You never argue whether those strikes are high or low, but you get 3. They can't call you out on 2 by imposing their own government, their own DA, their own judges. They're calling you out on 2 strikes. They're doing this not because of any reason except they disagree with the leaders that the city of Jackson and Hinds County are electing. Now that gets into your due process rights, your constitutional rights given to you by the 5th and 14th Amendment. If he articulated what I just did, and let me go ahead and say that sounds fancy. That's constitutional 1, law number 1, and constitutional law number 2. Every law student knows that. If he could just articulate that, now you're like, I see what they're doing now. John Horn said today on Super Talk, you might be fixing Jackson's problems, but you're doing it the way that Bilbo and the Klan used to. You're taking away our choices. You're taking away our rights. Do you agree or disagree, Mr. Johnson?
Those are strong and harsh words to say, Brent. But what I am going to say is that, he entitled to his own opinion, but I don't want to say it's a cleanse. I don't want to use that statement because that could go a lot of different ways. You know what I mean?
Okay. Do you think race is...
A lot of people is using that. A lot of people is using that. A lot of people is using that as a... Brent,
I'm here. You there?
a lot of people is using those kind of things. A lot of statements, and a lot of people is using the race theory. But I heard Congressman James Clyburn speak on Sunday in Jackson, Mississippi at New Bethel AME Church. And he said we need to get away from theories and go with history. Am I right, Mr. Bill?
Yeah, it needs to be accurate. Yeah.
So a lot of what they're saying is theories, that it's a racist theory. But we need to go with the history, Brent.
Okay, do you think the people who are making decisions right now have a history of being racist?
I think the people that make the decisions are what they're doing, Brent, and I don't want to get too far out with this. What they're doing, Brent, they're doing things that's a little out of the ordinary. So it may seem to racist to some, it may seem over against the civil rights to some, but what's going to eventually happen, Brent, the United States Supreme Court going to have to step in, Brent.
Now let me say this. I disagree with you on that, and that's where Mississippi and Jackson are somewhat screwed. If you don't, you have to frame it right. You have to go with the equal protection. You have to go with the due process violations on the 5th and 14th Amendments of the Constitution, federal, not state. But then, who's going to file it? Who's going to finance it? And who are they going to represent? Are they going to because I don't think the city of Jackson have any civil rights because they're not an individual, but the citizens are. So are we talking about a class action? Are we talking about, and then when you sue the state, and this is getting a little bit legal, and I didn't mean to go here. When you sue the state, you cannot sue the state in federal court under 11th Amendment. The 11th Amendment prevents you from going to federal court on a state issue. I've tried to drag the state in multiple times. They raise the 11th Amendment. It's absolute immunity, and then they get kicked back to state court. So the people who will decide it, they're going to have an action in Chancery Court, in my opinion. Win that. Then you're going up to the Mississippi Supreme Court. You're going to lose 7-2. Your 2 votes are going to be King and Kitchens, and everybody else is going to vote for them. And then you're going to have to do a writ of cert to the United States Supreme Court, and that's where you get into whether they're going to grant cert. And I hate to disappoint the common makeup of the United States Supreme Court, the ones that says that there's not a racial issue anymore for the Civil Rights Voting Act and things like that. They're not going to interfere. Mr. Bill.
Well, you got states' rights here, and Jackson's a part of the state of Mississippi. And the Supreme Court that's going to handle it will be, like you said, the Mississippi Supreme Court. But we're looking at this. All the statutes that Brent just brought forward, you're looking at time. You're looking at the
7 years to get to the United States Supreme Court.
You're looking at the legislation being enacted and being enforced for a number of years. Then when you get to the Supreme Court, how have you fared in the practice while it was going on? There's a lot of series of thoughts and what we call legal processes that's going to come forward. Now, I do understand that there's a lot of talk about systemic racism, okay, and that's prevalent, and everything that comes out that conservatives and liberals and people of color disagree with, they always point towards systemic racism. So that's basically a normal circumstance as it relates to this particular legislation that's going forward. So how they're going to deal with it, how they're going to attack it, that's going to be about the influences of state federal dollars, because different programs are supposed to be, as given by the federal government, allotted for the people. And if we are part of the people that is not getting what we call the earmarks of that grant, then those are issues that can minimize federal funds, as well as investors, as well as, when I say investors, as well as businesses coming to the state. So those are some things you can look at. Those are some things as it relates to the influences of the power of the state. The economics, if we can call an appeal to the economics, you may get attention to your plight, that it's not fair. But it's about, I just say it like this, it's about the influences, because the legal system will take a long time, and you will be in operations by the time you get to the Supreme Court.
We're going to take a break and come back and talk about a few more issues involving this district proposal. But Malcolm, before we leave, why should people elect you as the next Hinds County Supervisor of District 5?
The people should elect me as the next Supervisor of District 5, Brent, because I will hit the ground running on day one. I will bring back open door policy, and we will answer the phones when we are elected to Supervisor District 5. Something that is not going on now, and we will not embarrass the citizens of Hinds County. Thank you, Brent.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Please remember we're broadcasting from We Believe Studios. If you can tell, We Believe Digital Studios is doing some amazing things. You can tell by the new graphics, the new technology. Please remember, if you have any video production needs, to call We Believe. We'll be right back after these commercials.
Hi, I'm Q Talicia Garrett. I am here to introduce our New South Development and Training Outreach Hour every Tuesday at 2 p.m., giving you information on how to become a part of the programs through USDA and Farm Service Agency. We can be reached at 678-779-9468. We can also be found online at newsouthoutreach.com.
Advertise on WeBelieve.global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our many global live stream TV broadcasts and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.global or call 800-492-5186, option 1.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, Keepers of the Knowledge for People Who Speak the Truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippilink.com and click on Home Delivery.
Do you have something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the WeBelieve.global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1, or visit online at WeBelieve.global.
SocratesGarrettENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. SocratesGarrettENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into MDOT grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. By using SocratesGarrettENT.com's crushed concrete products, anyone from homeowners to general contractors can help reduce landfilled concrete waste, conserve natural resources, and gain significant economic savings on materials and disposal costs. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
We are back. It's Brent Hazard, Wilford Bill, Malcolm Johnson, and joining us for our second segment is the legendary Socrates Garrett. Legend in his own mind, at least. Mr. Garrett, we were talking about the district. What is your thoughts and opinions of it?
What district are we talking about here?
The proposed Republican district that will take over the capital district by appointing their own, the governor appointing their own judges and their own prosecutors.
You're talking about the invasion.
The invasion?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I see it. I was watching world news and Putin invaded Ukraine and Tate invaded Jackson.
Do you blame Tate for this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's the governor.
But I mean, he doesn't control the legislature. You probably didn't get that far. Then I'm just a bill. Maybe we can show that clip. Do you get how a bill comes out of the legislature and it's signed by the governor?
Yeah.
So the governor really doesn't. Do you think Tate's behind this?
Oh, absolutely, Brent. Now you can tell me about the process of a bill becoming law, but that's not what's happening.
Bill.
We're talking about what the governor said when he said it would be a great day to be out of Jackson, and that the mayor was incompetent, and that the state would not be giving the city a dime, and then all of these bills that now have been authored carrying out the wishes and the plans of the governor.
Well,
It's clear to me.
Okay, but well, here's the flaw in your argument.
Okay.
The flaw in your argument is Tate Reeves run something. Tate Reeves don't run anything in this state. Tate Reeves takes orders.
No, that's well.
You telling me Tate Reeves says no to Haley Barber?
Well, I don't know who he takes orders from.
Haley Barber,
Okay, if you know that, then Haley is the maestro,
the Godfather.
the godfather of the European persuasion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know any other
Well, he's
persuasion
not
ran this state.
godfather over in my community. I can tell you that now.
Oh, y'all got enough votes to beat him.
No, but you
Oh.
you don't have to be the godfather. See, for the godfather has favor on those that he likes.
Does he?
I thought so.
We came from different gang. I guess we came from different societies. Do you think Tate is running thing, Mr. Bill? Do you think?
From what discussion has been, I don't have any longevity of knowing Tate, but when you tell me that he's an MBA man, economics man, he's basically an administrator, the administrators that keep the accuracy of the process. So you can say his justification of running things may fall short because a lot of the political position he takes doesn't have any substantial background or what we call depth in order to believe that that's a political position.
Malcolm, you mentioned Senator Clyburn, and I was out of town. What was he in town for, and what did he say? Where did he speak?
Well, he was in town for the New Bethel AME Church's Men's Day this past Sunday. Matter of fact, him and Congressman Thomas both graced the pulpit as special guests. He was the speaker, and Benny was just joining him in the event. It was a good event. My first time ever hearing him speak on that order. I've heard him on TV, but I never heard him in the order. Mr. Bill was joined with me by many members of the Black Caucus of the state of Mississippi, Senator John Horn, Earl Banks, Senator David Blunt, along with so many other judges, federal judges was there, local judges, and others came to listen to him. But he's a great speaker, and I know your good friend to your right, Brent, Mr. Garrett, probably have been hearing him for the last 30 years and can understand when he say that we need to get away from theory and look at history on some of these elected officials that's going on, like in the Mississippi State Capitol. It's history being repeated. It's not a theory.
Did you attend, Mr. Garrett?
Did I attend?
Senator Clyburn's
No, I did not.
speaking engagement.
No, I did not.
I was in Puerto Rico.
I didn't get a chance to attend. No,
Didn't get invited.
didn't get invited. Did you have to be invited?
I don't know. I was gone. I was out of country.
I thought it was at a local church.
Once again,
It was a local church.
I don't think you have to get invited to church.
well, sometimes when it's a packed house,
I don't think you get invited to church.
I got invited to several churches just because people don't like you to invite you. I've been invited to New Horizon by you.
What I'm saying, there is no one that cannot attend that was not invited. It's not a members only kind of event.
But there's only so many seats in the church.
Well, you can stand outside and listen. When I grew up as a boy, half of the congregation was outside, listen through the windows.
Well, when you go into a church and when you're having a speaker such as Clyburn, the invite may come as a notice to let you know that they're having them. We want you to participate in our Men's Day. We're raising money. Those type invites takes place. It's not like you're invited to come to a party. It is an announcement. And the way we're hearing it, maybe you didn't know he was coming. So that means that you didn't get any type of acknowledgement that he would be at New Bethel for Men's Day.
Well, let me go ahead because I respect all your gentlemen on this panel, but y'all know I'm the guy. I'm the Nostradamus of Jackson, Mississippi. I don't like it. It's a curse. I told y'all 8 years ago the metro government's coming, and here it is. They're calling it the district. Should Jackson try to send a group to negotiate who's on this district, Mr. Bill?
That would be good, but I don't know the level of collaboration that our elected officials have at this time because there are a lot of fragmented perception about the leadership of the city. even though we all on the same accord as it relates to the legislation, we're not on the same accord as it relates to our elected leadership and our support. So I don't know how much that's going to do, but that was a good first step. If we can get everybody on the same accord, because things may take place that affect us and we don't know why because of the differences.
Mr. Garrett, should Jackson or Hinds County send a coalition to try to negotiate regarding these bills?
I don't know about the word negotiate. I think that Jackson should send strong messages to all members of the legislature and all elected officials that they're going to fight this invasion, this takeover with everything that they possibly have. That this is a war that we didn't start, but this is a war that we're going to fight to the end. You cannot allow the state of Mississippi to take over Jackson's sovereignty and take over all of its assets and just put your people in place. I mean, that's un-American.
Well, earlier Brent was talking about civil rights codes and what have you. Okay, now there is a major white elephant out there, and that's taxation without representation. And when you start appointing, and they're going to use the tax dollars from the people of Jackson, that's a bigger issue as opposed to the strength of the civil rights issue.
That was intelligent and succinct. I'm not used to those two arguments coming from you. Malcolm, should Hinds County or City of Jackson send a coalition to try to negotiate this?
Yes, we should, but the real question is, where will we get the funds to fight the state? You know, when you usually fight the state, they normally cut your money somewhere else, Brent. So you have to look at, when we get ready to go to the legislature next year, when I'm on the board of supervisors, and say, I need $20 million because we need a parking garage at the Jackson Convention Center. And they say, well, once you take the $4 million that you would put into legal fees and put into the garage, what do you say, Brent?
Well, I mean, I understand what you're talking about, and the closest analogy I've had to tell certain judges, do not sue the Board of Supervisors. You might be right technically, but they're going to find other ways to cut your budget. Go in the room and try to negotiate, and that's what I advise here. What I think the City of Jackson and Hinds County is missing, as I said, and Socrates didn't have the honor of hearing my well-thought-out equal protection 1983 civil rights analysis the citizens could file possibly in Hinds County Chancery Court. What you're laying down, if you do send this coalition, is you're setting a record. You're sitting there saying, hey guys, we wanted our voices heard, but more importantly, we're okay because the district is technically metro government. We're okay with these appointments if they happen on a statewide basis. So let's talk about some appointments or DAs that's going to happen in Gulfport. Let's talk about the appointments in the district we're going to create in South Haven. Let's talk about what we're going to do up in Tupelo and make a record, or y'all just doing this to Jackson because of the African American community, they don't deserve a vote. That's what I would do as a City of Jackson, or say, look, this is where the Republicans are screwing up. What I would do if I was a legislature and I wanted this, I would forget the district. I would form metro government and say, I'm going to form metro government, and Rankin County is going to have a vote, Madison County is going to have a vote, and Hinds County is going to have a vote, and then they can get together and decide it, and we're done as a state.
Yeah, you can do that, and that's one point. Also, they can create their own city within the city and have their own tax base and rename themselves.
Now, see, you're close, Mr. Bill, and that's why I have you on this show for your 17 answers with, your word of the day vocabulary. Let me tell you the second strategy I'm hearing, and I want to hear, I'll go to Socrates first and then Malcolm if y'all heard it. This is the code you need to be aware of. And, of course, I don't have it pulled up because I'm unprofessional. The code you want to be aware of, Lord, let me find it. In Hinds County, Hinds County 19149 is the state code defining the land mass of Hinds County. Hinds County is recognized by the Mississippi Constitution that cannot be changed except for 2/3 vote, and they don't have it. The actual boundaries of a county are in the Mississippi Code, and my sources say you're about to get, Madison County is about to get 15, 20 miles. That boundary of Ridgeland's going to move to northeast Mississippi. Rankin's about to get 15 to 20 miles heading in from the river. Copiah's about to get 15 to 20 miles moving up north. And that is a majority vote. And what you do there is you're increasing now, you're building a buffer zone. You're taking away certain circuit court or chancery court districts, and you're giving them to other counties and other DAs. Those people will be elected. They will be chosen by it, and there's no due process violation because all they're doing is changing they're not eliminating Hinds County, they're just changing the boundaries. Mr. Garrett, your response.
Well, I don't know how to respond to that. I don't really know all what you just said.
Okay, you understand boundaries of a county.
I do understand boundaries.
Okay, you understand that they technically, as a legislature, have a right to change the boundaries of a county.
No, I don't understand that.
Okay, the Mississippi Code, and I know you haven't had a chance to look at it, but if I represent to you, the counties are defined by the Constitution. The land mass of a county is defined by the legislature. So they can't take away the capital of Jackson. They can't take away Jackson and Hinds County, but they can shrink in Hinds County.
So they can redraw the line.
Correct, redraw the lines.
Same thing as you talk about legislative districts. That's the same process.
Yes, Mr. Johnson.
You really sound like you coming up with a theory.
Partner, I'm coming up with sources. I could tell you sources, but I can't reveal my sources. But I told y'all, like I said 5 or 6 years ago on WNPR, I said y'all need to get your house in order, or we need to get our house in order, or someone's going to do it for us. The story I always said
you always said. But Mr. Garrett, I got a question.
He just cut me off on my show.
They always do.
Mr. Garrett.
It says the Brent and Malcolm show.
It don't say anything over here.
Well,
but go ahead. Over here, it says the Brent and Go ahead, Malcolm.
I got to ask Mr. Garrett. Does Mr. Garrett, do Brent have on a red shirt today? You know, I'm about 800 miles away from him. 800 feet away.
Yeah, I got a red shirt on for Valentine's, man.
It seems to be red,
In
Malcolm.
the black community, when you have on red, that means Republican. That means you're an elephant. That sounds like an elephant in the room, Mr. Sock.
Wow. I guess y'all don't know about Nason's over in your black community, because I know another association that represents red in the African American community. We won't get into. I ain't got nothing but love for both nations. I don't want to be hating anybody or throwing signs.
Brent, it's just a joke, Brent.
I understand that, Malcolm. But anyway, we got to take another break. We're going to come back and talk about some other current events. Malcolm, while we go into this break, what are the first few topics you will address if elected as Hinds County Supervisor?
Accountability and making sure that small businesses and local businesses, just like the man to your right and other businesses, be recognized to do business in the city, in the county of Hinds County.
Wow.
We will be right back after these messages from We Believe Digital.
SGE Solutions.com is paving the way forward for a safer city government, delivering cutting-edge biosecurity and biosafety protocols developed internationally by top virologists and scientists using an all-natural cleaning solution, killing COVID-19 on contact like no other product on the international market. For more information, please call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at sgecovidsolutions.com. Let sgecovidsolutions.com provide innovative rapid facilities testing and world-class state-of-the-art biorisk safety protocols for all of your coronavirus needs. Call 1-800-281-9080 or visit us online at sgecovidsolutions.com.
Advertise on WeBelieve.global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our many global live stream TV broadcasts and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.global or call 800-492-5186, option 1.
The Mississippi Link is an African American female owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippilink.com and click on Home Delivery.
Do you have something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the WeBelieve.global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1, or visit online at WeBelieve.global.
We're coming back, and some of this shows where you have better discussions off the air, and we're going to try to bring it back on the air. Socrates, you disagreed that it was not a reality that they could move the boundaries of Hinds County like I described.
No, I never heard of that before, and I don't think that anybody thinks that's a plausible idea or concept, and it certainly wouldn't work. It wouldn't benefit anybody. Quite frankly, Jackson is 85% black, and Hinds County is probably 80% black. 79% black, and nobody wants you to move that black population up into their area. And so, it's not plausible.
I would disagree. One, I think it's more legal than what's being proposed now, because those neighborhoods would still have their constitutional right to vote for judges and their district attorney. They would just be watered down. Like Mr. Beal pointed out, what they're doing is taking the strategy, Malcolm, they just redrew the supervisor districts in Hinds County, did they not?
Yes, sir.
It would be something based on that. Why everyone will keep their same voting rights. You're just voting in a different district or a different county. Mm-hmm. And the reason I've heard it's not been proposed is some people in Madison and Rankin's like, we're not doing that. We don't want them in our counties. But the way they're trying to sell it, I hear in the closed rooms, is that buffer zones. We're creating buffer zones where our DA can sentence people. And they're coming over here, and whatever happens right before county lines, they're not getting sentenced, but we get 10 miles.
So racist to me. That is probably, the most divisive thing I've heard in a long time. Is it that you want control so bad that you would even consider taking the land out of Hinds County and putting it over in Madison County? And who would think of doing anything like that? That is absolutely terrible concept. I mean, we saw what happened with the takeover of Jackson Public Schools. Nobody wanted to take over Jackson Public Schools, because the day they declared that they took it over, those students would be free to move and go to any school that they chose to, which means all of these black children, 32,000 students, could go up to Madison Central. So they decided they didn't want that. So they didn't take it over. Same thing here. You can't take the land and push it over somewhere else. What you're going to do is create a bigger problem than you got now.
But what you would actually be doing is, let's just say, and I'm making this number up in my head because I don't know, let's say 20% of what we're talking about, 20% of the county schools would end up going to Rankin, Madison, Copiah County, or 20% of the population.
Yeah.
Well, you just said that no one wanted the students in other counties. They would be given opportunities in other counties.
Nobody wants that to happen, and those counties don't want that influx, that intake of the black population coming into its district. They don't want that. And so it's not only that it doesn't make any sense to do it, nobody wants it. In Rankin County, you can't tell them that now they're going to get 30,000 black people coming into Rankin County. I mean, you're talking about striking and rioting and protesting.
And hard to buy houses over there and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah, you tell Rankin County they're about to pick up 50,000 blacks.
Where you gonna
And
stay?
see what Gary Rhodes going to say over there in Flowood.
Yeah, where you gonna stay?
Now, from once again, my sources say they've been looking at Pearl, they've been looking at Ridgeland to become or even Clinton becoming African American communities, or predominantly African American communities that are governed well. That the fear of the quote unquote the black invasion is not an issue anymore. I mean, there's racism in Mississippi and all segments of population. But what it is the fear of lack of leadership and a proactive DA is what is fearing people. Mr. Beal?
Yes, that's true. That's just the general populace having the lack of confidence in leadership of color. And that's a way of healing the process where it has caused disappointment throughout the metropolitan region. I understand that perception of influence and power.
Malcolm,
Yes,
did
sir.
you see the mayor talk about releasing the video of the person who died in Capital City custody?
I didn't see that one. I know it's a video that JPD, that the mayor and the chief had a disagreement on with JPD with Keith Murrow. I
Yeah.
think that's the video you probably be talking about.
Well, I thought Capital City was involved initially, and JPD might have the video, but I thought Capitol Police was
No,
involved
Capitol
in
was
it.
not involved in it.
Okay, now I'm speaking ignorant. But
And guess what, my friend?
what?
That happened to be a first cousin of mine, Keith. Keith's mother and my biological mother were sisters. My biological mother is now deceased. And so that is kind of close right there.
Well, what is your position on it? Should they
Well-
release the video or not?
I know Keith, he's not a violent person. I think Keith also got a couple of family members who used to work for Mr. Garrett. I'm not going to call no names on the air, but I am going to say this, that I wasn't there. I've never known him to be violent. I never knew him to be aggressive. I heard that he was tasered several times and got sick, and they kept on tasing him. So I think the officer had been fired, and the mayor went public and said that he was lied to about this situation. So it's an ongoing investigation. I think his mother, Renee, them had brought in some civil rights attorneys from out of town, which I would recommend. You, Brent, is one of the greatest attorney law firms in the state of Mississippi, Richard Swartz and Associates. But you know, when things like that is out of your control, there's nothing you can do. But we just gonna pray that the right thing come out of it.
Socrates, are you familiar with the story I'm talking about?
Yes, I am. I was shocked and surprised to see that in Jackson. I really thought that we had more of a community-based policing department, more sensitivity in Jackson than they had in Ferguson or they had in Memphis, Tennessee with Tyree Nichols. I was shocked to see that in Jackson, and I was also disturbed that the mayor and the police chief were not on the same page about how things had been handled, and so it was just disappointing all the way around.
My issue, now, Mr. Beal, are you familiar with it?
I'm familiar with it in parts of it, not totally.
And what's your opinion of it?
Oh, well, that's a hard one to call because the mayor said, like he said, they're different. My opinion is policing, period. Police have a tendency to do that. We must keep in mind they train almost up to a military type of training. And there will be times where they will go to the extremes. They go to the extremes, and it's a human nature issue as it relates to being in control of the situation. It's just most unfortunate that it took place. But the fact that most of the police department in Jackson are people of color does not necessarily mean that it's going to be much different than policing anywhere else, because they all get the same training and they get the same high when certain situations present.
Now, I misspoke, but the article I was looking at on WAPT, while the mayor was talking about this, Keith Murrow, Lumumba also called on the public to come forward to report incidents involving Jackson and Capitol Police. That was where my confusion came into. My issue with this, with the mayor, and I don't care if I'm speaking as an ex-prosecutor, as a civil rights attorney, as an ex-criminal defense attorney, be consistent. If you want to release this video, release every video you have where an investigation where someone died, whether police involved or not. Let's be honest, because everybody deserves civil rights. Every life is important. Everybody is someone's son or daughter. I don't like it whether it's pro-cop, anti-cop, whatever way. Be consistent when you come down to releasing videos like that, because I do believe transparency when someone's life is taken. You need to see it. You need to be open about it. Whether we're talking about, whether it's a homeless person that got killed, whether we're talking about, there was a couple of issues there where I can think in my mind when 2 homeless people were killed and there was alleged videos that we never saw. We don't know if they're in custody or whether I'm talking about this situation. Be consistent, because every life is important and everybody has civil rights. Let's go forward to, I want to talk about what's going on with the local elections. Mr. Garrett, do you have any opinion on local elections, or are you still observing what's going on too early in the race? Or
Oh, absolutely. But we all have a desire. We have candidates that we prefer. And so, we study the race and study the forecasters and the prognosticators in terms of what's likely to happen. I think the most interesting race of all right now is in that lieutenant governor's race. And that's one that I think is going to be very, very interesting as we go forward. Clearly, there are some local races that we got to keep our eyes on.
Chris McDaniel's going to beat Delbert Hosemann. Let me call it right here.
Well, I said it was going to be very interesting. I don't think you can call it now. I mean, you can do whatever you like.
I'm a grown-ass man.
Yeah, you can do whatever you like, but I don't think that you have the statistics, the analysis of the race yet to see how much money is where and who is going to change positions and how involved the black community is going to get in this race. Will determine the outcome. So
I just don't think it's any of that. I don't think. What the hell's Delbert Hosemann done?
He's been the lieutenant governor for 4 years.
I mean, just because you sit in a chair,
He took the flag down. He took the flag down.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can say he took it down. He was part of it. But what I'm saying is, for 4 years, and for such a. I mean, everybody I know from Jackson, I've lived in Jackson, but Jackson is not my original home. It is now. They love Delbert, and they tell me what Delbert's done, but I look at the water, and I don't see any clean water. I don't see Delbert saying anything about that. I look at crime publicly. I don't see Delbert speaking anything like that. I don't know what Delbert's done. Mr. Bill, am I missing something?
I cannot tell you. I'm not familiar with Delbert.
Malcolm, am I missing something?
Yeah, you're missing a lot, brother.
Tell me what I'm missing.
Deborah Hosemann is a guy of class. He's a guy, he's a mature guy. He's a guy of class, and something else about him. Deborah Hosemann represents the lieutenant position with integrity. Chris McDaniel bring a bunch of bull crap to the table with his politics. Now, I have a good friend that dates someone in his family. John Lewis used to be a consul. I think he dates his sister or something. And they just don't. That Tea Party movement is just not what Mississippi need right now. What we need, Mr. Socrates Garrett and attorney Brent Hazard, we need integrity, because the world is watching Mississippi.
Well, look, I'll say right now. Now, I knew Chris in law school, and I think a lot of what he says with this, I'm interested to see where the Tea Party is, because when he was running against that, he was hard Tea Party. I think that movement almost has died with Trump. But I just think we can do better than Tate and Delbert. And I don't care who it is, to be quite honest. I just haven't been impressed by either one of them. We'll leave Mr. Hill. Disagree or agree?
Well, my question is, because I don't know either of the gentlemen, how important or how effective It's the position of lieutenant governor.
Lieutenant governor at one time and the Speaker of the House was the most powerful positions before Haley Barbour revolutionized the political landscape. Am I misquoting anything?
No, you're right.
Mr. Do you agree or disagree? We need just some change, whether it's Brandon Presley or Chris McDaniel, just somebody new, or would you rather stay with the status quo?
Well, I think we need some change, but we have to be very careful with what change we're looking for. I don't think that we can trade Delbert in for staunch Tea Party Republican like Chris McDaniels and think that we're going to move the state forward. I mean, I know you might have gone to school with him, but so far his politics have been, anti-diversity, and don't see that that's moving Mississippi forward. I'm not saying that Delbert has been one of the most aggressive and progressive lieutenant governors that we've ever had. I didn't say that, but certainly you got to be careful what you ask for.
My problem with Delbert is like with Obamacare. For the longest time, he couldn't even say the words Obamacare. He talks about we need affordable health care, we need this, we need that. He creeps around it. Just come out and say it. We're broke. We got hospitals going down, and we're idiotic. If you're worried about a family member having cancer or heart attack or getting hit by a truck, and you want to go to a hospital within 100 miles of you, with the poorest state in the union needs Obamacare. That's my problem there. Now, will McDaniel say that, or will Brandon Presley say that? I don't know. But I'm just saying, I know doing the same thing, expecting different results is insanity. But with that said, Malcolm, we got 33 seconds left in this show. Tell people why they should pick you as supervisor of District 5.
Well, Brent, thank you for asking the question. I think you should elect Malcolm Johnson as the supervisor of District 5. Just turn your TV on and see the embarrassment. Go to the meetings and see how small businesses, minorities are getting left out of the work in Hinds County. Also, call your supervisor's phone in District 5 and see if you get an answer. And then you will call me and say, Malcolm Johnson, you have my vote. Because I am committed to answering the phones and having an open door policy, Mr. Socrates Gary, where everyone is welcome to come in and sit down. And if you're a business guy, you should be in the rotation of making money of the taxpayers. This is not a private organization. It's the people's organization. Thank you, Brent.
This has been Brent Hazard. Socrates, as always, thank you for coming.
Okay.
Mr. Bill, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Malcolm, will you be in studio or will you still be campaigning next Tuesday?
I don't know yet exactly. I got a lot of meetings set up, and you know how that goes. So between meetings here and there, we're going to do what we got to do. But one thing I know, the Malcolm Johnson, Brent Hazard and Malcolm Johnson show going to roll on. Rain, sleet, or snow, the show got to go.
I tell you what we're not going to do. We ain't going to change the title of my damn show, I tell you that. We'll be back next week. Thank you for tuning in.